Welcome to Empowered, Mind-Body Inspiration. The mind is the map to wholeness, wellness, health. The heart is the key to genius and inspiration. Join me and my guests as we explore how to release and rewire into who you truly are, unique, whole, and empowered. Please like, share, and subscribe. Spiral up, spiral out. Welcome, everyone. Today we have Dr. Nancy Ash, a modern-day mystic, veteran teacher, and pioneering midwife to a new paradigm since the 1970s. Professor Ash is the worldwide chancellor of the NewEarth University, the unlearning arm of the NewEarth movement. Nancy has a Ph.D. in religious studies and holds a Doctor of Divinity degree in metaphysics and spirituality. She is also founding trustee for the International Tribunal for Natural Justice. She is author of 2 books, Garland of Grace and Sitting with the Dying Sun, and doing a 360, turning your life around to follow your soul's purpose. Reverend Nancy's life work is to champion soul sovereignty for all women, men, and children on earth. Her voice is heard worldwide as a passionate new thought leader. Let's see how this spirals out. Welcome, Dr. Ash. I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jayne Marquis. I'm very honored to be on your wonderful program talking about how we all need to be more and more empowered, in our own inimitable ways. Thank you.
Yes, and you have so much to share. I know you have a wealth of information that we could go into, but I wanted to start with how you term yourself a midwife to a new paradigm since the 1970s. So you have had a vision for a very long time, and you must have almost been born into that vision. Can you just share a bit about how that, bubbled up in your life?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Wow, that's taking me back a ways because I'm definitely very seasoned. I'm very, very deep into my 60s now, and came into this beautiful life, this beautiful world, as a soul driven, I should say, a soul driven life. I knew very, very young as a little girl that I was here to serve. And I'll share really briefly, when I was 11 years old, Jayne, it was my birthday time, and I wanted a telescope. I didn't want Barbie dolls and all that crap. I wanted a telescope so I could look up at the sky, and I longed to go back home. I missed the cosmos where I was from. I knew that I was a soul here to assist, that came here from other seeds, shall we say. And I got my wish fulfilled. My parents got me a little telescope, and I was so excited. I would take it out at night and I would look at the moon. I would look at the stars. And it just was so comforting to me. So, as I went on through the years as a teen, I was very blessed. I had very good mentors. And maybe we could talk about that later in your program if that suits your audience tuning in. I'm so honored to be here and share. But when I met Joseph Campbell, the great mythologist, the greatest mythologist, arguably, of our time, I was in my teens in New York, and it was a profound shift. Yeah, it was one of those kind of life-altering experiences, speaking with him, learning from him. And I knew then further that deepening of service, And then went on to, I entered into the ministry at 20 and studied and became an ordained intrafaith minister. And so, my life for my goodness, for a long time, for decades, has been service. That has always been at the forefront. It is, in my humble view, the way, the more we serve, the more we are empowered. Well, the more I'm empowered anyway. So I don't know how you feel about that, but
Oh no, I feel it is one of the keys to empowerment. And it's kind of a paradigm shift because it doesn't make sense in the mind, but whenever I've been in my most difficult times, I've asked, how can I serve? And the flood of love and then the synchronicities that happen are incredible.
yes, absolutely. And, midwifing, quote, a new paradigm. I mean, we're all midwives, whether we're men or women, it doesn't matter. We're helping many of us to birth fully the higher vibrations of what we call a new earth. And that's how you and I met years back. I think it's back in 2014, Jayne,
Mm.
with the New Earth, a movement that my beloved friend and longtime close colleague, Sasha Stone, started that with a number of folks. And then I came on board in the educational realm, so to speak, to help, champion that a bit. But, so we're all helping to fully manifest that's already here. That's one thing that I really believe truly in my heart of hearts, my soul, is that the new earth frequency, the higher frequencies, the newer frequencies are here. And I know at a challenging time like now, going, through 2020, this bizarre year, and here we are in 2021, deep into that year. I mean, it's been really difficult for many. I mean, we are going through what I call a sacred war. And maybe we can touch upon that later. But, but yet the frequencies are already here, in my opinion, for the new earth, the higher frequencies. We need to tune into that. It's like fine tuning. If you think of the old fashioned, the radios, where you would turn a knob and that way you would tune into the frequency of that radio channel so you could hear the music correctly rather than static. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to fine tune ourselves, raise our vibrations very high continually, in peace, in love, in service, and feel that full manifestation of that already is here, which is that new earth. So
Yeah, and just to be aware that this fear and the fear energy pulls you away from that, and that could be part of the agenda right now.
Yes, boy. One of my favorite pastimes, what I've been doing in the last year, uh, 14, 15 months thereabouts, during this interesting pandemic, is getting as much sunlight as possible out in nature. And I'm very blessed in that I live up in the mountains of New Mexico here. It's very beautiful and fairly high up, thousands and thousands of feet up in the foothills of the Sandias, which is the highest. The crest is 10,000, about 6 and change, 100 feet. And so that is so important for us to build up our immune system. And I know you're such an amazing doctor in natural health. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir with you on that, but getting as much sunlight as possible and feeling those beautiful, powerful cosmic rays of the sun, the golden galactic sun coming into our DNA and our, 12-strand DNA into every cell in our body, nourishing us. That to me has been paramount. I do that as much as possible. Yeah. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Like as much as possible. I mean, we've just got through our winter, but I was in Florida and I just soaked it up. And now definitely, and you can like, and to allow it to change, if you are in a fear state, to connect to the earth and then connect to that light and sunlight is really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Really, truly is. And for what has been going around with this Rona business, as I call it, among many other things, these things do not like sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
They do not like it. They do not prosper and grow and flourish in sunlight. And so, having everyone being told to stay in and cover up and all, I mean, that's one of the, to me, one of the strangest, episodes of this whole Rona business that, we've been going through. And I know your audience will be listening into this and in the months and years to come and looking back at this time. What an amazing time that we're in, the opportunity to go within ourselves, within our soul, and search deeply, why are we here? What am I to do here? What is my soul's purpose? That's my work in what I do. One of the main hats that I wear in life, as a minister and as a teacher. And what could be more beautiful than going within, searching deeply into our soul's purpose and bringing forth that is unique. That's why we're here on earth. That's why we're in human form, is to grow and evolve and learn and be the best expression, the most creative, beautiful expression of the divine, because we are divine.
Yeah. And there's always a gift in whatever seems to be negative or overwhelming. And that is the gift in this, in that many have slowed down and been able to actually have that time to tune in. And Nancy, you wrote a book about this. What are some of your gems to share about how to do that and why?
Oh, thank you. Well, it was a while ago. I think it's been out at least about 10 years now. And it's interesting, um, doing things like birthing shows like your wonderful program, or, writing books and doing these kinds of projects. They're a little bit daunting, but they're doable, as they arise from the soul's purpose. So one of my purposes for being here was to help bring forth spiritual principles, shall we say, ideas and concepts, uh, so that some folks may be illuminated by that. I mean, if we can help reach one person and inspire one person, then doing something like writing a book is totally worth it. Because I have to tell you, it is a lot of work to write books, and I've written two, and I have another one in the oven, so to speak. But the first one that I put out was doing a 360, turning your life around to follow soul's purpose, and I was given that completely by spirit. I mean, I had a very sacred experience. I had a vision. I had an experience, um, and I was given this doing a 360, and I was like, well, what the heck does that mean? I mean, I never heard of that. What do you mean doing a 360? And it had been exactly 360 days because I was prompted to sort of look at the calendar. There was some kind of appointment coming up for something. I had just moved here to the Southwest and many years ago, and it had been exactly 360 days since I quit everything. My husband and I, we quit our cushy jobs and our beautiful home we had and our spiritual community and all our family and friends and everything. And we just sold everything and just moved 2,000 miles away. We didn't know anybody. We had no jobs. We just picked up and left, and everyone thought we were out of our freaking minds doing that. But, we all do a 360 in our own way, looking back at it. But essentially, one of the things, this book was an homage really to Joe Campbell and the hero's journey, because for those of you that may not be familiar with Joseph Campbell and his amazing, he's known for the saying, follow your bliss. He said that to me when I was a kid. Nancy, you have to follow your bliss, and it's really, really true. I mean, you're on the path. All of you that think maybe you're not on the path, you are on the path. You really, truly are. So it's the matter of maintaining your divine purpose. And one thing that I was guided to share in this book is being P&A, for example, being present and available. Yeah, being P&A as much as you can, listening to folks and being in that present moment. Like, for example, right now, as you and I are chatting, being aware right now that my left foot, and I'm not wearing socks or shoes, so that my feet are touching the carpet and it feels soft and good, and how I'm resting my elbow on my desk. And, things like that, your posture, your breath, being P&A, being present and being available to whatever is arising moment to moment. And that, takes a little bit of practice to do, but, with some skillful means, this is very, very helpful. What we would call like mindfulness, practices. And, another really cool one is what I call uptime. Like, instead of downtime, you would think of normally, downtime, I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to do this, or, maybe even listen to a podcast like your wonderful podcast. So uptime is really just a little flip the switch on that. It's a creative puttering. It's doing that makes your soul delight and feel joy and blessedness in every moment. So whatever those creative, uptime activities are, that is so, so important, especially in times like what we've been through, right? With this crazy lockdown and, not being able to see people and, people feeling like they're bored and they don't know what to do, being in their homes and so forth. Creative uptime is awesome because there's every moment is a joy. Every moment is a creative play, that creative, like I said before, the puttering, so to speak, doing things that delight your senses. So it's a journey. We're all on this journey. We're on it together in oneness, and yet we're all unique in our own way. So doing a 360 is really just going full circle. Yeah, it's like, if you think of a metaphor, like sort of, baseball, like on a baseball diamond, you get the pitch and you swing and you hit a home run, woo, and you go to first base, second base, third base, fourth base, and you come on in home. You go full circle all the way around. Yeah. Whereas if you do a 180, you're just turning away from that you want to escape from it, like you mentioned very wisely before, about our fears. Yeah. If we run from our fears, you're not, as Joe Campbell taught, going full circle, doing the hero's journey, facing your fears, trials and tribulations, going through the healing, going through the initiation, going through all of that inner work, and then going around and healing and coming out the circle, transformed, so you can bestow your boons, your gifts to humanity. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the journey and the service, is to get stronger, be strong, and come out from your circular journey. Like walking a labyrinth is another perfect example, like a metaphor. And I have one in my backyard. My husband and I built one. So where you enter, it's not a maze. You don't get lost in a labyrinth. You just go exactly, you start, you go around and around, and you will end up where you started, which sounds kind of weird, right? Like, well, why would I want to end up where I started, with the same problems? You don't, because you go through the journey, you transmute that is, quote, the fear, the issues, the problems. You face those, and you go through all kinds of experiences that enrich you and make you stronger. And you come out from that dark night of the soul, which is part of that journey. You come out empowered, in the light, stronger, healthier, braver. And then you can assist others in whatever way that you are called to do, whatever your purpose is here, So if that makes sense, that's what I was guided to put out. And that was part of my first doctoral work that I did, Jayne, in my dissertation that I did with my Doctor of Divinity, is transforming it into this publication of doing a 360. So I hope that helps.
Well, so beautiful. And, I think that would be a wonderful book for all of us to read, because somewhere along the line, you realize that you've been programmed and you're looking on the outside for your guidance, like, I'm going to do this because that's what society says I should do, and then I'll be accepted, instead of, like you say, going inside and following the path through the dark night of the soul, or wherever it leads you, in order to be who you are meant to be. So maybe, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You were preaching to the choir with me, sister, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we are divine beings. God is within us. The Christed light is within our heart and within our mind. The Buddha blessings, whatever teachings one feels called to follow, whatever religious bend in the road someone has, we're all human beings. We're all one. We're here to experience that divineness in physical form. That's why we took form. That's my humble opinion. And the more that we go within, the, shall I say, the more things flow in a divine way. Look, we're all going to have issues. We're all going to have problems in life. That's why we're here, to experience those things and to work them out. And some of us have more severe situations than others. We're all different. So we never are to judge anyone for the shoes that they walk in, because we're all unique. And that is the most blessed thing. We're unique in our oneness. Yeah. But we've got to follow our inner guidance. We've got to follow our divinity, our Godhead, a Buddha head, Allah, whatever we believe, God within us, the blessedness. The more we do that, I've found for myself, the easier things are. I may have issues that I have to deal with that are very, very serious in health and wellness and family and so forth, as we all do. But the more that I step outside of self, as in the word ecstasy, ecstasis, being outside of self, then I just let great spirit guide the way. And it sounds like it's weakness, but it is not. It couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah. We're sovereign beings. We're born sovereign. And we're born as sovereign souls. And that is the most important thing, in my view, what my journey has brought me to in these seasoned years, shall I say, um, you know, to help achieve that I'm here to do, is to surrender. The surrender is the strength, and the surrender and the service, there it is. Bingo. What a combination.
Yeah. And like we were talking about, you're born that way. And until a certain age, we are programmed from 0 to 7, but then we enter this whole indoctrination of school. And, we, like you said, we go to work, and somewhere along the line, I've questioned that whole paradigm. And it does feel like a form of slavery. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, for sure. One of the hats that I wear at this point in my life, I've been very, very honored to be the chancellor for the NewEarth University. It used to be the NewEarth Institute years ago when we met, and you're on the faculty of our health and wellness school, which is so awesome. And have a beautiful course in the cell salts, which maybe we can even touch on that later too. But, that whole responsibility, I mean, I take that very, very seriously. I do not take it lightly. It is something that I'm doing for these number of years. And then in time we'll, pass the baton when ready, when someone else is ready to nurture that and help it to flow forward. Because we are, this is an interesting conversation, because when, for example, in our School of Natural Law and with some of our curriculum, when folks realize that they have been slaves their whole lives, it's a shock. There's anger. There's disbelief. It happens all the time. I see it with so many of our beautiful students. But we're born sovereign. We are souls that are born sovereign here on this beautiful planet Earth. And yet we are indoctrinated into this programming, school. And I've said this many times before, and I'll say it again, probably many, many times in the future. Education, particularly in this country, in the United States, education generally, Jayne, is broken. It is boring. It is way, way too expensive. It is corrupt. And I submit to your listeners that, it is criminal. And so we are recalibrating learning by unlearning that we've been programmed for so long. And we're recalibrating, learning the pure truth of our sovereignty. That we, if you think, if folks are, listening in and kind of, got one ear bending and the other, in doubt, think about it. How free do you really feel that you are on this earth? Are we free to just go about to country anytime we want, without papers, without passports, without stamping visas, with time limits? and this, that, and the other. Very interesting. I invite you to contemplate all of that, to consider all of that. How free have you really been to walk about this earth? You know, it's challenging, and it's people get frustrated in the beginning. The awakening process that we're all going through, you and me and all of us listening. You know, we're all awakening in our own inimitable way. There's nobody better than anybody else or more enlightened than anybody else. We've all got our baggage, yeah. But we have been completely enslaved. We're born, and we immediately go into school, and we're told we have to raise our hand if we have to go to the bathroom, and we have all these rules. We're never outside in the fresh air. We're under these awful lights in these boxes with this horrific curriculum. And I have friends that are great teachers, and I love teachers of all kinds. So I am not bashing teachers. I adore teachers. But the system, Jayne, the system is broken. It doesn't work at all. And so we've got to, and we are doing it, we've got to recalibrate learning. And relearn, re-educate ourselves to the truth, and realize that we have been stuck in this old paradigm, and we are awakening to it. So many of us are realizing something isn't right here. Yeah, something doesn't feel right. What the heck is going on here? And more people are starting to educate children themselves. Beautiful homeschooling programs. I mean, the university obviously is higher learning. We are not an institution that has programs for little children. We hope down the road that we will have more and more affiliate academies and schools coming in. So for now, we're, quote, higher learning, so to speak. But this is key. This is really inherent. Everything involves learning, doesn't it? And when we realize that we've been stuck in this old paradigm of slavery, that we're slaves to the government, we need to look at self-governance. Okay, we're smart beings. We're good people. All of us, we're good, smart beings. We can make decisions, and it's got to come from the communities now. It's got to come from the towns. It's got to come from the people. Mm-hmm. We, the people, yeah? Because electing one person and thinking that that person is going to make change in your life, no, that's external. That comes back to what we just spoke about before, the internal guidance of our divinity. We've got to learn self-governance. We've got to empower our sovereignty and honor others. That doesn't mean we walk over others that don't believe what we believe in. That's not it. Sovereignty doesn't mean you do whatever the hell you want and don't care about other people. No, there are guidelines that we follow in life so that we can live well and honor each other. But we've got to completely, and that's what we've been working on, with the NewEarth Institute, now the university, these last 5 years. We have got to empower and strengthen and illuminate the need for relearning the pure truth. So I don't know how you feel about that as part of the NewEarth. You're a beloved member for many years as well in this new frequency. So I'd love to hear what you think about, the recalibration of learning.
Well, I was drawn to it, because it's exciting. And, when you do wake to the fact that you have been indoctrinated into a slave system, it kind of makes you laugh and kind of makes you cry.
Yeah.
Because, we're taught that even if you don't want to be such and such, you need to do that so that you have money and, you have distinction in your community or whatever it is. And it may not serve your sole purpose at all. And I think that's personally, I think that's one of the reasons people get so sick, is because they're not tuned into this and they're not following their joy in life. And so, yeah, I was really excited about the thought that there could be a different way and a different way of learning. And I think universities, schools in general too, they teach what they want us to believe. It's a programming system. No matter, there might be some light and glimpses of goodness there, but I think in many ways they have an agenda to what they want us to believe. So I've been aware of that as well.
Yeah. There's no doubt. I mean, especially in higher education, it's the indoctrination program of what the curriculum parameters are. Yeah. Whereas in NewEarth University, and we're going to be launching a certification program. We were hoping, but we had a little interesting thing, came about, which sort of pushed us back a tad, which is just fine. Everything is in divine, timing and order. But this little world crisis came about, which sort of halted travel worldwide and all kinds of things, made things very interesting for us, didn't it? Here in 2020, the year of seeing clearly what is going on. So, but we're going to be launching a big certification program. And the thing is that, what is beautiful is students will be designing their own curriculum. And that's what we need to start doing more of, is realizing that the soul's purpose, the learning is inherent within ourselves. We don't need folks outside of us telling us everything that we have to do. I mean, yes, we have advisors, we guide and mentors, and sure, that's helpful. Of course, we need that. Like our teachers in the university that teach their curriculum. I mean, they're there to really help and guide, but essentially, we have to do the work ourselves now. We have, it's the old Hopi saying, and I live near the Hopi here in the Southwest, the beautiful Hopi. And the prophecy is, we are the ones we've been waiting for. And, it may sound cheesy, but not to me. I don't care, because to me, that is the pure truth. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Nobody else is going to step up and do this. We have to do this. It's time now. Each one of us has to step up in our own power, stand up in our truth, in the fire, in that Christed flame, and speak the truth and do what we came here to do. I mean, like it is 11:59 right now. And I've said this before many times in many, podcasts like this and programs that I've been on. And it's 11:59. And people say to me, well, what does that mean? I don't get that. What do you mean it's 11:59? Well, it means we're running out of time, folks. Meaning, look at what happened this past year with this whole Rona business. I mean, this is getting serious, okay? And so many people are awakening, and it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome to see the beauty in what is going on, as rough as it's been, and many souls have chosen to leave. But that's always how it's going to be. Souls, when we see ourselves as more than just a bag of bones, we're a soul that is here to experience life through a physical embodiment. Once we can really tune into that more and more, rather than the other way around, but we are a soul here to experience the beauty of life, to be in the flesh temporarily, in this little skin suit that we wear. It's amazing because life goes on. Life is immortal. That is my belief. Thank goodness, thank God, life does go on. Love goes on forever. It is inexorable in all directions of the cosmos. And the more we can feel ourselves attuned to that bigness of the cosmos, that bigger aspect than just the little local yokel self, the easier it is to deal with these things.
Yes. And how are we controlled? We're controlled through fear and death, and the fear of death. And if you know what you're saying, if you know in your heart that's how it is, then you're not controlled. Period. Right?
Yes, well said, well said. And look, we're all going to have certain fears at certain times. We're human beings and we're here to transcend, to transmute that and embrace love. And you can't have fear if you have love. You can't have both.
Right?
So, it's the more and more we embrace that love within ourselves, in our heart of hearts, our soul. It's so powerful. There's not room for that fear. So if any of you out there have been feeling fear because of this situation, the global situation that we're going through, for some tools in the toolkit is to pause and be P&A. I mentioned that earlier. Be present and available, to your physical surroundings, to your breath. Breath is the fastest, that, Jayne, in your work. Breath is the fastest way to shift your energy. You can shift things just by taking a delicious, warm breath. And it sounds so easy, but isn't it true? The simple things in life, we often overlook them. We're always looking for all this intricate, deep stuff, and we forget the basics. The basics, just shifting our breath, deepening our breath, lengthening our breath, breathing in healing energy, breathing in love into every cell in the body, and just feeling that life force shining down upon the center of our being. Wow. Just in the few moments of this, I noticed a little shift in me. So, these kinds of things, we can do that and we can transcend and let go of the fear a little bit, maybe a little bit easier. What do you think?
Oh, and you can, when you're caught or you've been triggered and you're in a state of where you're not connected, not in the present, like you say.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes is breathing and connecting to what you're describing. And you can pop right out within 10 minutes, change your whole reality.
Yes. And Jayne, just what I would say to your listeners too is, let your soul drive the bus. You've got the keys, drive the magic bus. Let your soul be in alignment with divine love. Let's be real. What else is there to do in this life, truly, except to be aligned with divine love? Really from the core. And, that's part of that, doing a 360, going full circle, being at the top of Mount Kailash, the very top, the citadel of the mountain, and looking out in all directions, 360 degrees, like in astrology, right? You've got the wheel, 30 degrees for each sign. I mean, it's everywhere, the spherical view rather than the linear view, the both and, rather than the either or, my way or the highway, that's that sacred spin, what I call the sacred spin of it, so to speak. It's that radical, passionate, divine bliss that then what we do is then we just put it into action, because really the sacred ground of doing anything, right, is the being is the sacred ground. And then or like the feminine, let's say the womb space. And then the action part is the divine masculine, is doing that we feel inherently from our beingness. And that way you get things done, like look at you and myself, we do a lot of stuff. You're a doctor, you have a practice, you're busy, you have family, you have, so much going on. You have your course you're working on, your cell salts course. I'm running the university and then I've got my ministry. I mean, people always say, how do you do so much stuff? And I say, well, it's not work to me. It's part of my spiritual practice. It's part of why I'm here to serve. And as long as I have my beingness in check, then I can just do stuff. I just get shit done, or, pardon my French there, but, we just get stuff done. We just do what we've got to do because that's what we're here to do. And, people a lot of times say, oh, we shouldn't use the doing. It's only the being. See, I don't agree with that. And to me, they're inextricably bound in grace. The being is the core and the doing just arises from the beingness. I mean, you can't really separate them out. I mean, I guess you can if you just want to sit on the couch all day and do nothing. That would be doing too. And that's okay if that's what somebody's guided to do at a certain time, to just sit on the couch and do nothing. Go to it. I mean, who are we to judge what's right or wrong? We're all in these different phases of life, like the fruit on the tree. Before you and I got on the podcast together and we were chatting a little, and I mean, all the fruit doesn't ripen on the tree of life at the same exact time, and that's cool. I mean, it shouldn't, right? I mean, that's just part of the growth of life to me. And that's really the essence of it. So
I think we're a lot like a pendulum too, though, that we need motion and we need service to others and to contribute in order to truly grow. What else I wanted to say that
yes.
I totally resonate with everything you're saying. And I often contemplate how we've been programmed to give away our power to government and even, doctors. Like I always teach patients, I'm always happy when they're sovereign and making their own decisions, right? But so in a way, it's like we're worshiping false idols, even another person, even a rock band, even a Hollywood star. You always have to come back and totally do what you're saying. Go inside and choose from that place.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of years ago, I've been walking this path in varying ways for so long. Years ago, I was more focused. I used to teach courses in stress management and I call it spiritual stress management, actually, because don't we all get at times stressed out of our gizzards, anybody who says, oh, I don't have any stress. Seriously, of course, we all have stress. And it's like you were saying about movement, because, stress, people don't realize stress is a part of life. Your body doesn't know the difference between attending a wedding, let's say, or a funeral, right? It's still stressful. Like you would think, well, what's stressful about a wedding? Well, hello, if you're planning the wedding, I mean, there's so much. And I've done weddings, as a minister, and they're amazing. But, oh my goodness, the bride for the wedding, they're stressed out. They're exhausted. There's so much to do. And so your body doesn't know the difference between, quote, good stress and, quote, bad stress. It is what it is. It's the adaptation that's the key. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we've got to understand that our healing is inherent within us. And yes, you know what? We need doctors at times for, like myself, for surgeries and certain things that we cannot do. If, God forbid, somebody's in a very serious accident and needs emergency massive surgery and this, that, and the other. I mean, what a blessing to have that technology now, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, to just surrender over our inherent sovereignty to someone else in any regard, I couldn't agree with you more. And that's the thing, that the waking up part of this, especially like, for example, in the university with the UCC course, how to own your straw man, the whole idea of reclaiming the straw man. And that's a whole other can of worms, getting into that. People are shocked when they realize, that their birth certificate is, the whole thing. I mean, it's shocking to realize that we have been traded on the stock market, what our lives are worth, the whole system. It's mind blowing. Mm-hmm. And so we've got to stand in our own power and be gracious with others and love others and balance with others, but speak our truth and not allow others, even doctors, to take over and control that is our life. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that.
And you always know, don't you? Like if you feel that tightness and that shriveling within, then it probably isn't, something you should be gravitating toward.
That's a good point. That I like that, because what this is speaking to, Jayne, is our intuition. And, there's contraction and expansion in the universe, in the quantum field. And so we're either, expanding our breath, we're inhaling, we're exhaling, and so if we feel that contraction in our energetic field, the more and more we attune and become more intuitive, more supra-sensitive to that there is in life, then yeah, that is a good breadcrumb on the hike of life, that we follow that little trail for sure. And so that's why it's important for things like, becoming more P&A, let's say, simple present, becoming more present and available to that is, whatever it is, wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you're at. All those kinds of things, all those practices that we have, that you and I have been doing, for decades, like meditative practices and contemplation and, breathing exercises like in yoga or pranayamas. I started out teaching hatha yoga many years ago. I was one of the, original folks in that realm and in the fitness world and yoga. I mean, going back to the 70s, my goodness, and I'm really dating myself, right? But, pranayama and breath work, so powerful, conscious breath, simple things. Once we start to really attune to some of these skill sets and work on them and hone those skills, then it becomes easier and easier to, like you said, kind of, you can feel, you can sense when something isn't right. And I bet you could even speak to this. Every time I don't follow my gut, it kicks me in the butt, right? I say, I didn't listen to my gut. I didn't listen to my, intuition. I shouldn't have done that. But there's no mistakes. Everything has its learning process. It's flowering, it's blossoming, as much as we think we make mistakes in the scheme of things, in the greater scheme of the sacredness of all life. Are there really mistakes? I don't know. I don't think there are any coincidences. Yeah. What about you?
Oh, no, I agree. And, I think of life like a game of snake and ladders. You put out the intent and then you don't know if you're going to go sideways, you're going to go up, you're going to go down, but eventually you end up where your intent, where your heart is leading you. And I think that's why it's so important, like you say, to be in the moment, and because then you can pick up on the subtle signposts and, listen to the things that matter, like, and come across the mentors that have a message and all of that. Yeah. So I totally agree. Love what you're saying.
Oh.
Nancy, now give us just a quick glimpse into NewEarth University, some of the amazing things you could learn there.
Okay. Sure. So, first of all, the NewEarth University is online presently, and one exciting development, and of course, again, a little bit postponed, especially in India. There's so much going on in India. We're beginning now to have on-site campus development, which is really amazing. And that will be in the exhibition center for symposia is presently being worked on. That's in Bali, in Indonesia, where we have our NewEarth small community, our NewEarth Haven and Akasha restaurant. It's just amazing. I've been there a couple of times and hope to see you in person there in the future. So presently, the university is an online university, but that's really cool that we'll be able to, in the future, once things really start opening up with travel again and so forth, that we'll be able to gather and attend symposia and workshops and classes and retreats with amazing faculty, worldwide faculty that we have, our fellows and individuals like yourself in our 6 schools. That's really exciting. That's really cool how that has been developing all behind the scenes. So much has been going on during the year of 2020, like your podcast blossoming as well, right? That's wonderful. So essentially there's 6 schools. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And one of our biggest schools, sort of the juggernaut and oldest schools, is the School of Health and Wellness that you were originally on the faculty with, which is really wonderful, and it's grown. And each of our schools in the university, as you know, has presently 2 main disciplines. And the entire university was created in alignment with the NewEarth movement. And the disciplines sort of represent the sacred feminine and the divine masculine. So kind of coming back to that, I think I was mentioning that earlier, right? Yeah, right, about the being and the doing, the womb space, the sacred feminine, and then the action phase, the divine masculine. So, for example, in your school, the School of Health and Wellness, you've got the conscious birth and dying discipline, the core, the womb space, the sacred feminine, the blossoming of all that is inherent in life. Yeah, the beauty of birth and conscious birth, like our wonderful beloved colleague Laura Uplinger who is a champion, renowned worldwide champion of conscious conception and birth. Yeah. And then, of course, conscious dying, the cycle. And then the wellness sovereignty is the divine masculine principle, that other main discipline of the school. The action, declaring your wellness sovereignty, declaring that and taking action in that. So that's one example. And then, of course, we have the School of Natural Law. I kind of briefly touched upon that before, with some like the UCC curriculum, the, how to own your straw man, and School of Socioeconomics and Ecology. And of course, the School of Science and Design Innovation. At the heart of it, the School of Consciousness and Spirituality. And I know I'm leaving one out. Yeah, the School of the Living Arts, which is beautiful, encompassing all new paradigm learning aspects and the creativity of all the arts, the lubrication of all the wheels that turn in life, right? Sound and music and the performing arts. So we've got a nice online group, conscious community, which is really the learning arm of the whole New Earth movement. And we're helping folks to begin to find remedy. And we're, by the way, we're a complimentary university. We are totally free. We don't require like subscriptions, and we don't require people apply and pay an application fee and so forth. Everything is available to folks for free. Our complimentary, like mini courses, like your Cell Salts mini course. And then we do have some curriculum that has some fees, tuition fees, to help, defray our costs, like our operating costs, for website and IT and administration and all the operational costs that we have. We do the best that we can. But boy, we are growing in leaps and bounds, and it's just absolutely beautiful to see that. So I hope that helps a bit as an overview.
Yeah. And, it's so exciting because when you learn these things, it just helps you thrive. And, I had a peek in and I was like, ooh, look at this. I could take fifth dimensional yoga,
Yes.
ego home training off grid, the Seven Sisters Mystery School, divine light training, heart self-intelligence, conscious eating, like so many things. So it's just jam-packed with beautiful, beautiful things to learn.
Oh, yeah. And I'm one of those, I'm a real doer. Well, look, my first book was Doing at 360. I mean, it's hilarious. I've always been a doer. I am a workaholic, and that's my shadow, and I embrace her and love her and don't squash her down, because we all know what happens when we do that, right? For those of you that are into shadow work, which I'm really big on,
Yeah.
when we try to squash down our shadows and hide them, boy, that's when they pop up, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right. So, I look at that and I appreciate all that you've said. And to me, there's so much more to do. I mean, there's so many areas that we need more curriculum in. We are being contacted daily, which is amazing. I have the most brilliant people contacting me now, Jayne, from all the work that we've been doing for years. And they're basically saying, look, I have my Ph.D. from here, old paradigm. I mean, I'm talking about people that are from very hardcore, traditional, well-known universities. And they're fed up. They're sick of the corruption, the polluted academia nonsense, and censorship.
Mm-hmm.
And they're reaching out and saying, oh my God, my friend, mentioned NewEarth University, and, wow, I mean, I want to be on the faculty. We actually have one gal on our faculty. She's been with us for a number of years. Amazing gal. I adore her. She got her PhD at Oxford in evidence-based health. And she showed in her dissertation how muscle testing is viable, how it works. She proved in her dissertation how it works. I mean, that is so wonderful that somebody did something like that. And then she contacted us and said, wow, I want to play in that sand circle, because unfortunately, the old school academia, it's, I'm just going to say it's the old boys club. And, it's political, and it's who you know, and it's all controlled by money. And NewEarth University, we don't allow that. See, that's the thing. We don't allow people to control. Government doesn't control us, and we will never allow that. So, yeah, I mean, we want to do so much more. We're always open to people with coming forward with new, exciting curriculum. We've got some other new courses that are not even on the website there that are coming in. We have new affiliates. It's very, very exciting to see that growth so that there's more opportunity for folks to learn. It's absolutely awesome. Absolutely.
Really exciting. And how do people find it? It just NewEarth. You just Google NewEarth.com?
Yeah, you can. It's we're NewEarth, one word, .university. And you can, World Wide Web. So it would be www.newearth.university.
Yeah. And I can include that link in the write-up. So I will do that.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be awesome. And, all you have to do is we have a free account, and we don't sell, email addresses and all that. I mean, we're small. We only have not quite 20,000 people within the university system right now, but we are growing and growing. And so once you have an account, a free NewEarth account, then you're able to enroll in curriculum that you want to, some of the workshops that we have. And that's it. It's pretty simple. It's really self-learning. That's what we're encouraging people to do. And our library is kind of it's a bit of a rabbit hole. I know whenever we are with our staff, when we're adding some precious resources in the library, and you go in there and all of a sudden you start watching a video or reading an article, like I can get lost in there for 2 hours.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in there. And unfortunately, right now, there's a lot of censorship. And this is a scary thing that is happening. And I mean, and it's real. I mean, this is no joke, folks. It happened to us. We had our entire NewEarth Project YouTube channel was deleted permanently. All of the videos. I know the university, we had 77 videos on there just in that one little playlist. It's serious. And we were getting warnings because they didn't like what we were posting. Where is free speech? I mean, look, we don't have to agree with each other, but we need to have free speech. This is getting really serious. And, you talk with people and they're, oh, sure. But when it happens to someone that, it happened to me, it happened to Sasha, it happened to all of us, we experienced that. And then we looked into other methods. We have other things that we are doing that we are going to be launching soon that is going to be completely protected so that we cannot be censored, meaning, on social media, et cetera. So we appreciate you doing this work, Jayne, because you're getting the word out. And I just pray that you will not be censored and have your beautiful work disappear. So any of you out there listening that have your own YouTube channels, other kinds of channels and projects you're doing, please back them up and have other places to store that content so that if you are completely censored and deplatformed, then you won't freak out and you'll be like, okay, I got my backup program because it's getting serious out there, folks.
Right. And, censorship alone is the biggest red flag I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, and it's worldwide. So what is going on?
Of course. And that's the thing too, this whole issue right now that we're in here in 2021, from the great year of seeing clearly, 2020, whoa, talk about an eye opener, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, we're in the midst of a sacred war.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that really, truly, this is a sacred war we are in. And we need to honor all, and we need to stand in our sovereignty, stand in our pure truth, stand in the Christed light, our Buddha awareness, our Dzogchen mind of it is as it is, but to do what we came here to do, to speak now, right? From that throat chakra, the Vishuddha chakra, right? Open up that throat and speak our truth, and realize that we're not going to be shut down. To me, I'm very positive. I know it may sound a little Pollyanna, but we've already won the sacred war. We will prevail. Yeah. We have a little saying in Tibetan Buddhist. At the end of retreats, my beloved teacher, Kenshin Palden Sherab Rinpoche, used to jump up in the air and stick his arms up in the air and say, Lajalo, Lajalo. And that means victory to the deities. That is a great exclamation of power, of accomplishment. Yeah. And so we are in that. Sometimes we may not feel that we are. So we don't want folks to get despondent and succumb to the fear, of our limitations, of things being taken away from us, because I do feel that we've won the sacred war. I do feel that we shall prevail. And what's the saying? It's always the darkest before the dawn. Yeah. Before the light comes, and it may seem that we're in that dark night of the soul, and but the light is coming. Spring is coming for us all if we just stay the course and go within and get stronger and more powerful. Like the name of your podcast, right? Empowered. Very cool. Yeah.
Yes, and each of us needs to just do our part and stand up and all hands on deck, and we'll be okay.
Yes, absolutely. I have a request for you.
Okay.
So, because I know we're coming to a close probably soon, right? I have no idea, but it just feels, would you feel comfortable if I read a short poem?
Oh, I would love that. That would be beautiful. Yes. And I love the message you just, I feel like that is the most powerful message, what you just said. So the poem would just be perfect.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is from another book that I wrote that I adore, called The Garland of Grace. Garland of Grace, Sitting with the Dying Sun. And sun, the sun, our beautiful sun, because the sun, like everything, Jayne, we know will arise. All things must pass. So, and we're in the sun, and it's important for us to be in the sun now, especially with our health. It's so important to bring those cosmic rays of the sun, the golden galactic sun, into our beingness. Yeah, it is essential. It is probably one of the most important things that we could be doing. So Garland of Grace, Sitting with the Dying Sun, is not negative, not that the sun is dying. It is just a fact. It is a scientific fact of quantum physics. The sun will eventually, in millions and millions of years, burn out. Yeah, it is what it is. That's just part of life. So we're not going to experience that in this lifetime. But that is just a part of being in the situation, being P&A, being present and available, sitting, meditating, sitting with the dying sun and understanding the nuance, the flow of all phases of life, of evolving in the cosmos. So this particular, let's see, where are we at here? Let me pick this one here. This one is a chapter is called Entering the Womb. And it's called Womb of the Daughters and Sons. Tired and of thirst, I finally reached Turquoise Mountain, the crest white with snow. You were there, brother, crying in the wind. Tears carried like misty feathers floating to mother's hand. Her golden stallion ready, silver-winged, bent to ease a graceful mount. She came forth to this citadel of becoming, and tenderly, as handmaiden with honey and milk, her elegant scarf caressed wet eyes clenched, wiping darkness away. Then Divine Mother spoke as ice melted around her robe. Daughters and sons that sleep in a bed of tears, awaken from tedious slumber of this tide. From this great dream, know your bedchamber dry. Thank you.
So beautiful.
Thank you. That's for all of our brothers and sisters out there that are in this awakening arena, and of all of us as fruit, ripening at different stages, yeah? Knowing that we are liberating, and to really feel that power, that strength. We need to be strong now in this war so we can fight the good fight in a loving way and not be scared, not be afraid. So, love is the key, yeah?
Beautiful message.
Thank you.
Yes, and waken from the slumber and realize how alive we all are and powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, we are powerful. That's the thing is, and I think many spiritual teachers have said it before in various ways, but, oftentimes I've noticed with folks that I work with, people are afraid of their light, more than their darkness,
Mm-hmm.
So we need to rise up and feel the empowerment of who we are. We're divine beings. And we're here at this amazing, what a blessing to be born and alive at this incredible time on this planet. This is, I know all generations say it, but this is a really amazing time on this planet. And what a gifting it is to be of service at this time, yeah?
Yeah. If you see it like that, it's really exciting.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And not to belittle anyone who's going through trials and tribulations and heartaches and heartbreaks. God knows there's plenty of it. We never belittle anything that anyone is going through or judge that. We're all unique. we've all got our own heroic journey, as Joe Campbell would say, right? We're following our bliss in our own way, whatever way that is for us, and my way is different than your way is different than folks tuning in, to this podcast today. So
yeah, that's just it, isn't it? It's contributing in our own unique way and trusting each path as being perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nancy. You have done so much already for this planet, and I just love what you're birthing. You've been a midwife for many years, and it's really incredible. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jayne, for doing this. And it's really a beautiful service to allow people to, you're creating, this is a consciousness carrier, a platform for the light so that people can speak from their heart and share their ideas. Very critical now. It's so critical. We've got to have more and more people stepping up like yourself and sharing their voice of oneness, because that's what we're here to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me on this beautiful program. And anytime I can be of service and help, and we're doing wonderful things at NewEarth University, and looking forward to having more curriculum from Jayne. So stay tuned, everyone, for that. It is going to be amazing. I'm just so excited, and maybe we can have a workshop that we can do. There's so many options.
It's brewing.
Yes, it is. Great.
Thank you. And for everyone out there, don't forget, don't give away your power to anyone else. Be the creator of your own life. Spiral up, spiral out.